Hello fellow builders and welcome back to the Mediocre Modeler channel. It's been about a week since Wonderfest and still working on the video with the models and everything that was going on. But the other thing that I had the opportunity to do while I was at Wonderfest was I met up with and interviewed Oggie from Interstellar Modeler. He's a great modeler and I really looked forward. We had been talking over the past about pretty much since last Wonderfest, because he had done that Viper launch tube kit and I didn't realize it was him, and I was watching his videos before that happened, and we had the opportunity to meet up at Wonderfest and sit down and have a chat. So without further ado, here is the Interstellar Modeler. Hello fellow builders and welcome back to Wonderfest. I have the opportunity of meeting Oggie, the Interstellar Modeler. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, not a problem.
It's an honor.
It's an honor for me. I was trying to remember where I first ran across your models, and it was the Marauder, the Battlestar.
Oh, yeah.
No, the Buck Rogers Marauder. And what you were doing with that model was you were accurizing it.
Yes.
And so when I thought about it, just like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah, right.
And so tell me about that. What brought you to that? What made you decide that this isn't quite right?
Right, yeah. You know, I think most of us who are modelers are, how we say, detail-oriented people. And, you know, it's amazing. I think, honestly, we are in a golden age of model building, because there's a lot of guys that are our age that, you know, watch these shows as kids. And, you know, the models, what I've come to find with the model industry is that it's a very complicated process to design and produce a model kit. I had the pleasure of interviewing one time the president of Mobius Models.
Oh, okay.
And he told me all about the process, licensing and all that stuff. But what really was fascinating was the tooling and all the engineering that goes into it. You know, a lot of things we kind of take for granted. So when you look at this stuff, it's no wonder that a lot of the models that we grew up with were not very detailed. I don't think a lot of the producers were model people anyway, or at least they were toy makers. At least that's what I take from it. You know, at least with sci-fi models, they weren't really taken all that seriously, and the cost also had to be reasonable. So the detailing, when you look at these kits, and I've always loved looking at production pictures of models, and you start noticing these details are way off, right?
Yeah.
You know, the famous ones, of course, are all the Star Trek ones that are just so off, and that was no exception when it came to the Buck Rogers model.
Okay,
right?
see,
so,
you say that, I'm just like, they're off? Really?
Yeah, they are. And yeah, so, the more skilled I got at model building, this is a model I had on my, literally tucked away in a drawer. And I took it out one day and I said, this would be kind of a cool thing for the channel, is to see what I could do to make it as accurate as I can. It's not going to be one-to-one accuracy, but that's what really, it was a project. I was trying to come up with things for the channel. And, there are a lot of little things that are missing on that model, and so that's what really kind of inspired me to do this, was just to see what I could do to make it look better.
So that's where I started with you, and so I started watching your channel, and so you were doing that, and then you transitioned over and you did the book nook.
Yes, all right, book nooks, yeah.
So that was a new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they started popping up. I'm like,
sure,
what
yeah.
is this thing? So,
yeah.
so let's hear about that.
Yeah, so the book nooks, my kids did not follow my footsteps. They're not model builders. And I wanted to come up with something unique to give them, because this recently my family, because my kids were off away at school and stuff, and the last couple of years we've had the pleasure of having them back home again, which I never thought we would again, because once they fly to the nest, that's it, right? And so we were all together for last Christmas, and I wanted to come up with something, and book nooks are a way to come up with something that's really personal and something that connects with the person. And I figured, what can I do with my model skills to create something that they'd be excited with? And so I just happened to come across someone building these book nooks, and there's a lot of Lord of the Ring themed ones, that sort of thing. And so I go, you know, as always, I mean, you could do something sci-fi with this,
Right.
right? And and there's a lot of applications, you know, a lot of possibilities there, and that's really what inspired me to do that. And I can tell you, it really paid off because, you know, my kids are well into their 20s now, so it's been a long time since they've opened up a Christmas gift, and you see that look in their eyes. You know, I thought that was long gone, right? But it was, that's what happened. They opened them up, they just were completely surprised by it. And I chose subjects they were really connected with. So my daughter was the anime-themed one. You know, my son was the Batman
The
one.
Batman, and
right,
the
yeah.
other
and there's
one
the
was
Lord of the Rings one, his fiance
okay.
loves Lord. And that clicked so, I mean, it just, they opened it up and it was like they were little kids again. So it's a very...
So did you give it to them after? Did you air the...
No, I purposely did not air the video. I mean, they don't regularly watch me. I don't know if they even watch my channel.
That's the thing, it's just like,
but
so
I didn't want to take the chance.
watching?
No, I didn't want to take the chance at all. And so I waited until after Christmas, and it was just great. Yeah.
Now, see, before you had done that, I think you had done a couple of oil paintings. You did one on, I think, on the shore or one in the desert. And so I'm sitting here looking at these, because we're model builders, and I'm going, that's what I know. And then you bust out with this oil painting, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing, you know?
Oh, thank you very much.
And I love the way you incorporated the oil painting in with the book nook.
Yeah, and I should mention too, there was that other book nook. You might be thinking of the Jack Skellington.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
So the ones I'm talking about came after the Jack Skellington one, because that one came out really well. And that was just a gift for a friend. My wife and I were trying to come up with something, and she's the one who actually came across this Jack Skellington 3D print. She goes, well, can you print this? And I said, yeah. I go, but just giving her a print is kind of boring. And then that's where I came across the book nooks, by the way. Yeah, that's how that whole thing started. And I figured, I can make this into a book nook. And so from that came the other ones.
I'm going to have to re-review that because
Yeah.
I want to do one. I don't know what it is.
And
well, see, and the thing about it is you've got so many things going, and I think that's what I like about the model building is it's not just one thing. It's not just slapping them together and blah, blah, blah. So you've got the oil painting going on. You've got the model building skills going on. You also had the electronics because you put lights in it. And so, I'm already amazed. I'm like, this guy is great.
Well, thank you.
And then you started the oil painting for The Mandalorian.
Yes.
You sent me the sketches for it.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh boy.
I've always been, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a cartoonist. And, my dad was in the Navy, so he would ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a cartoonist in the Navy. They don't have that. And because Charles Schultz was my hero, right? I wanted to be a cartoonist and that sort of thing. And so I've always been able to draw, right, is what I'm getting at there. And, I kind of set that aside, life just takes off, right? I a few years ago wanted to get back into drawing, and I actually never took any drawing classes. It's all just been self-taught, if you will, and learn, reading books, that sort of thing. And so a few years ago, I set aside this time to do a drawing every week.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I took out a sketch pad, and I even posted this on my Facebook from one week to the next. And so every month I would post the I'd pick a subject, and I would do 4 drawings for each subject. So one was comics, one was eyes, one was this or that. And so I really kind of honed in. It's amazing what you can do and perfect your skills if you really devote time like that. And so then when the pandemic hit, at the time we were all, many of us experienced this, we were closed down from our businesses or whatever it is that you do, in life. We were all kind of like sitting around and watched Bob Ross videos. And my wife bought me a Bob Ross kit. And so I started painting with his techniques, but you can't, not to knock his techniques, it's just that there's certain things you can do with his techniques. I wanted to get more detailed, so I started combining my drawing with my painting. And that's where I started following other people on YouTube who do paint, and there's some phenomenal artists out there. And so that's why I started going, well, again, I know I can do sci-fi with this.
Right.
So what inspired me with The Mandalorian was, we were watching Book of Boba Fett, and that one scene where he's sitting there, I'm like, I could make a good painting. I'm going to try that.
And it did. Yeah, it came out. Well, I'll post it as part of this. But when you sent that it came out well.
Yeah, yeah.
But you weren't done. You weren't
I'm never done. Yeah.
And so, I was amazed, and you showed the picture on that, and then a couple weeks later,
yeah,
here you come with Cad Bane.
Yeah.
And the Cad, honestly, in my opinion, the Cad Bane came out better than the Mandalorian.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody wanted me to bring that, and I just in just the rush of packing everything,
right.
I just forgot him. But yeah, thank you very much. He has so much character to him, and there's more Star Wars characters I'm going to be doing too. So
well,
yeah.
I will keep you guys apprised on that.
Yeah.
So, being that we're here at Wonderfest, we have to talk about models. So, what did you bring to put in the contest?
Yeah, because I have to fly. I wanted to bring stuff that I could at least pack and not worry about it, getting broken. And so I brought the Seaview, which is the Seaview model. It's a small resin kit that's resting on a simulated ocean base.
That's right, you did. Okay, this kit you need to check out because you did the simulated water.
That's right, yeah.
And the technique you used was...
I didn't use, I've always thought people used acrylics for this.
Right,
so of course a lot of people do, but I found that a lot of people also do it with just, other media. And so this is just really clay that's been sculpted and then just painted with different layers of paints and gloss coatings. And then in combination with using cotton to create the...
Well, but didn't you put, like, something over the clay?
Oh, yeah, right. To create the texture.
Yes.
This one guy was using, and I just followed this one guy's lead of using antiseptic wipes that you spread out. And you just kind of lay down on there, and it works phenomenally well.
I'm just like,
and it works
looking
for the
around my bench going, I have
yeah,
white.
Right, and it works for the scales that we're working with. This was a smaller scale, so the texture's going to be. You're trying to imagine something from a distance, and it worked remarkably well. Yeah.
So that one came out well. Very well. So
yeah, and then I brought Mr. Freeze, which is a 3D printed, one of my first 3D printed figures that's lit up and stuff. And then I brought an anime figure, which for the first time I tried one of those. And she's from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, I've not watched that.
And then also Con Bus from Blackheart Model, since it's the Con anniversary this year.
No, and I picked up the Gorn last year. I had to get those little.
Yeah, and I went right to their booth this year, and I bought the Telosian, and I brought Ruck, from that What Little Girls Are Made Of episode, and then they have a Captain Pike of him in the chair, his.
So you're leaning towards Star Trek more than you have a fair bit because your cosplay,
right?
Because he does a Chakotay. I'm just saying, when he sent me the pictures of Chakotay, I'm just like, wow. So that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I have equal love, I would say, for Star Trek and Star Wars. I suppose Star Trek maybe edges out a little because I started watching Star Trek when I was on 6 or 7, watching reruns and stuff, and we used to play Star Trek and that sort of thing. So I'd say that has a special place in my heart there. But Star Wars is just, there's room for both.
Right.
I honestly don't understand.
You don't have to be
Star Wars
one or the
Star Trek
other.
Thing. You can that easily be both, as well as a Battlestar Galactica fan, all of the things that we are. So.
Well, I will say, if you do like a Starfleet cosplay. Those uniforms are a lot easier to store.
Yes, they are.
Easier to store, easier to carry.
A lot of props and stuff.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So what else did you bring? You brought 4 things, right?
Yeah, that was it. Just brought those 4, and the rest was really just, kind of seeing what's out there and being inspired like you are. I mean, these shows, if anything, humble you every time.
Yes, they. Oh
right?
My God.
Because I think there's a certain
but they also
level.
Inspire.
They do. And what I'm most inspired with, and what I'm most fascinated, and I don't know what else you might call it, but it's just the level of creativity where they come up with a unique idea. It's one thing building on someone else's idea, but to come up with something absolutely unique, whether it's a mashup of something, like you do with your cosplay, or just, I don't know, it's just something that you're like, wow, that's just an original concept that's really, really cool. So it's something that constantly inspires you, gets you going again. You want to go home and do something else.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I threw a couple of geek questions in there because I can't help myself.
We are nerds.
Yes, we are.
Proud of it.
Right. So, favorite, maybe 1 or 2 favorite starfighter or TIE fighter?
Well, it's got to be the. Gosh, it's a hard one because the X-wing is it's just an iconic, you know, ship when it comes to a fighter. And then, but then, man, the Viper is really awesome too.
Okay.
Right, the original Viper, I actually loved the reimagined series. I know some people didn't, but I really love it. I look at it as a completely different series than the first one. But the original Viper, right? And I've been going over Ralph McQuarrie artwork because of my oil painting. I've been actually, you know, trying to reproduce some of it. And, and I do that because it just gives me a feel for. It really allows you to dive into some of this art in a different way, whether it's how he shaded things or how he positioned things or the concept that he came up with. And I just love the Viper. So I don't know, it's a hard pick, but I would say those two come out.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say Viper.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're designed by, you know, John Dykstra and a few others did similar work. I think Ralph McQuarrie, I think he designed both, or at least had a hand in it anyway.
Well,
there's a lot of people who just, you know.
Well, McQuarrie also he had the design for the Viper ended up being the Starfighter for Battlestar Galactica.
For Battlestar Galactica, yeah. So,
for Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers, yeah. But either way, those two are the ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're still going to stick with ships. We're talking about a mid-sized ship that you could live on. So we're talking. So I don't want to give you any.
Yeah. So live on, like whether you're being an explorer or just a.
Your galactic RV. I mean, you're eating there, you're sleeping there. You know, the whole thing. So we're talking Millennium Falcon. We're talking Serenity. We're talking.
Yeah. I would say for that, the Millennium Falcon actually is the first thing that popped into my head.
Okay.
Yeah, that is. You know, the beauty of Star Wars, I think, is there's such a variety of different designs, whether that's the result of all the aliens that are in that world, because it's a massive universe as we're coming to, it's even growing now, right?
Right.
And so that provides for just a lot of different aesthetics when it comes to model design, and the Falcon is so classic.
Yeah.
Right, it's just, it's its own thing, so I would say the Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. Okay, so your favorite Enterprise?
My favorite Enterprise is still the original. You know,
really?
I honestly, yeah, I guess maybe because I grew up with it. It's got so many different elements to it, and it is what everything else is based on. You know, but you look at those shimmering nacelles, and just the way that you can photograph it.
Okay.
You know, it's just a thing of beauty in my mind. Yeah, and I would say close second is the Enterprise, the refit. I think because of what they had to, when, you know, literally they're going from the small screen, which you could hardly see those details, but the screens we watched on when we were kids, it was on a 19-inch TV, and that's
if you're lucky it was in color.
If you're lucky it was in color, yeah, exactly. And then versus, you know, on screen you had to see all this detail. So, you know, their approach to it was way different, designing this for the big screen. Now there's all this detail that you can see. So I definitely appreciate that part of it. But I'd still say the original Enterprise is still that special place for me.
So for me, Enterprise E.
Yeah.
And I can just remember the opening scenes of the movie when, you know, because the D was, it was what it was, you know.
It was, yeah. There's certain things you like about it, right? But
I was not sad when it crashed.
Yeah.
But that first scene when the E comes
of course. Yeah.
on screen,
absolutely,
especially after, and I'll have to say, you lead into that movie with the music, and that I think that is such a beautiful soundtrack. That opening soundtrack.
Yeah.
And then you see the E, and I can just remember saying, "God, she's beautiful."
Yeah. And the other scene too is when they're in the midst of this fight, and Worf's like trying to hold on with the Defiant and all that, and you hear him say, "There's another ship coming in," and then he says, "It's the Enterprise," and then here comes a swooping, and you know, that made your hair stand.
Yes, yeah, I mean,
right? Yeah, I get it. Enterprise is a beautiful ship, absolutely.
So, your favorite personal sidearm?
Oh, I'd have to say the Galactica Blaster.
Really? Okay.
From the original series, right? I mean, you know, because they didn't want to use. It's my understanding they couldn't use, or they. You know, because there was this whole thing between them and the Star Wars people.
Right.
They wanted to avoid using the laser, you know, beams.
Yeah.
Right. So when they would flash on screen with no laser, right, they just go, you know, you see this bright flash and you see this explosion in the end. I just thought that was the coolest thing. Yeah. So. There's of course the classic phaser,
Right.
That's up there too. But that's the first thing that popped into my mind was
Okay.
Battlestar Galactica.
That is definitely in my top 5. It
Uh-huh.
might be number 2. I would say like Winona from Farscape.
Oh, okay.
So I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
for some I don't know why that thing
Yeah.
that it speaks to me.
Yeah.
And then so your favorite heavy weapon. You're going
Favorite
into
heavy
you're
weapon.
Going into let me
Yeah.
paint you a picture. Going into a firefight, you're
Right.
and your buddy just like, we're here, we need to get over there, and you have a heavy weapon, and all you're in. What are you picking up?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. I'm floating between these rifles that the stormtroopers use versus the Type 3 phaser rifle from First Contact.
Yeah.
That is a sharp weapon.
Yes, yes.
Right? So maybe that's what I would use.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got that, and I'm going to be right behind you, or next to you. Let's say next to you. M41A pulse rifle.
Okay. There you go. So I know I'm covered. Yeah, that's right,
Well,
right.
this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so
very
much for coming on.
I have something for you.
Oh no.
Because when we first touched base, and I was really flattered that you have brought me up on your channel, and that you're a fan of my work and stuff like that. So I have a couple of things for you.
Okay.
All right. So first of all is Interstellar Modeler cap.
Oh, okay.
You have to be official because I actually did a short interview on my channel with him.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, and then I have this for you. So this is it's not associated with the box, but so you want to take the tape off here. Okay, so there you go. Christmas time.
Oh, dude. Oh, okay. I'm nervous because I know it's going to be beautiful. Dude. Okay. I wish I could do that.
So I'm certainly not as talented at all by when I compare myself to someone. I'm not comparing myself to Ralph McQuarrie in any way, but he is an amazing artist, and this is one of the images I remember seeing early on when Battlestar Galactica was being talked about in Starlog magazine. I'm not sure where I saw this image, but it just reminds me of just I don't know. There's a lot to see in this particular piece, so I thought I would do it for you.
Well, you know what? Well, we're in the season of gift giving.
Yeah.
I love that. And it works so well.
Yeah.
Since we're in the galactic realm,
Yeah.
I brought the solenoid charge.
Yes, of course.
And it's a resin. This is actually the second one I've made. The first one was 3D printed as a filament printer on the filament, and so I got a resin printer, and I wanted to redo it, and it comes out so well on the resin, and it lights up.
Let's see here.
Both directions.
Oh wow! Look at that. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. That's
Not a
awesome.
problem.
That's going to be a nice addition to my collection there.
I will tell you,
Yeah.
when we first started talking, I knew I'm gonna like this guy because I accidentally butt dialed you, and you sent me. You were just like, I'm busy with papers right now, but we can talk later. And I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry, man, it was a butt dial, but the fact that you were willing to take time, not even knowing me from Adam, out of your day, I'm just like, this is a great guy. So,
well, thank you very much.
thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure we're going to. You talk about fast friends.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this together.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
thanks, guys.
have a good one. That was a very good interview. I tell you what, he's one of those guys. You want to say fast friends? I mean, I can really see myself grabbing a model kit or having him come over with a model kit and just spreading the models out over the table and putting some sci-fi on the TV and just talking sci-fi and having a good time. So he also interviewed me on his channel, so I would really, he's such a great modeler. Just go check his channel out, like and subscribe, and we'll hopefully get to meet up next year and see what's new in between us, and maybe we can figure out a cosplay that we can all do together. So until next time, have fun, be safe, and go build something. Pew 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 pew.